Good evening, everyone. Welcome to this Wednesday night edition of A Flawed Man of God. My name is Stuart Davis. I'm a nobody. I'm a I'm a I'm just a Christian. I'm just your average guy. I'm a deacon at a small church just outside of Richmond, Virginia. I'm here to offer you exposure into the mind and feelings of an average day-to-day Christian. I'm not a pastor. I haven't been to seminary. I'm not a biblical scholar. I'm not here to try to get you to join my congregation. I'm not here to get you to donate to any special cause. What I am here is to offer you insights into the mind of me and my faith as I see it. And we are currently going through the Bible. We are going through it chapter by chapter, little by little, and giving my thoughts, feelings, and feedback on this. And get from it what you will. If you are viewing this right now, or if you then go ahead and leave a comment, give me some thoughts on what you're seeing come up and how I'm reacting to it. Give me your reaction. Let me know what you're thinking. If you're popping on this after popping on and watching this after the live stream has ended, go ahead and leave a comment, like and subscribe to my YouTube channel, like my Facebook page, or follow me on Twitter. aflawedman.com is the way you can find me everywhere. Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, it's the same all across. I'd love to hear feedback from you. I want viewers. I want to do this outreach. If you know somebody who you think might need to hear it or want to hear it, share it with them. That's the best thing you can do for a guy like me, especially with a channel very new to, still very much in its infancy. So with that said, we'll do a little bit of housekeeping. I took last night off. The night before that, I had a very long, very productive stream with my new friend Eric Rollon. He is a gentleman who is coming on and giving us a lot of insights and thoughts into what he's able to determine, what he's able to research and find out about, kind of things that we might consider plot holes or places where we would like to see the Bible be a little bit more explanatory on. We talked about the Nephilim last month, the other night. We talked about the 12 tribes of Israel and how Jacob kind of prophesied things. And what I thought was awesome is a gentleman who's coming on and giving us a lot. Jacob kind of prophesied. Oh crap! What I thought was I'm being a boomer. Let me stop that. Okay. What I thought was awesome that he did was at the end he was putting after he had wrapped everything up, he put it all together and talked about the translations and the things that were said at the birth of each of Jacob's children, how they're listed in they are what is said for them in the order that they are born, which is significant, and naturally that's how it's told in Genesis, and then how it's discussed in Revelation and how they're ordered in Revelation. It actually comes out to a phrase that is a cool, very just wow factor going on in the ways that God works in that way. So that's what we're getting out of that. We're going to start doing that every Tuesday night. It's just going to be me and him. We're going to pick a topic. He's going to do some research. I'm going to ask him some questions about it. We've gotten some really good feedback from the people who have listened to it. Also, we are going to have, I said I was going to be working on getting some more guests, because I feel like it's better when I have somebody else that I'm talking to, and it's not just me rambling and ranting on. My first guest the first other guest that I'm going to be bringing on is a lady by the name of Kristen Gupta. You might know her as Kristen Beal. She is a published author who has and I think a friend of mine. I've met her. We went to the same. We were going to Sunday school at the same church, and I got to know her a little bit. Had no idea that she was published until I found out later, and it was great. She's got a great story about how she has reacted in her faith to things, to when life throws you a big curveball. And when, in her case, she suffered an accident, it It affected her deeply on a physical level. And obviously, when you have something like that done, it affects you on a mental level. And she's going to discuss exactly how that affected her and how she grew from there, because she has made, she is in my opinion, a very bright and shining personality, for anybody to listen to when it comes to discussing her faith. So she is going to come on here Thursday night at 8 p.m. Eastern time. And I'm just going to do similar to what I do with Eric, bring her on, give her a springboard, and she is just going to go through it. And we're going to talk a little bit about, we're going to talk in great detail her thoughts and feelings on that, as a person who has gone through a significant experience, life-altering experience, and how that affected her, and will also be and how she became a writer. And we'll put out the different books that she's written, and link you to her Instagram and her her website. With that said, here we go. We're getting back into the Bible. We left off. Moses is on Mount Sinai. Moses is on Mount Sinai. He has discussed the 10 Commandments with the Lord Almighty. And we are going to continue on with that. And we are going to go over what happens here, because as we alluded to a little bit in my conversation with Eric, the Israelites about to get a little rowdy. Not tonight, not the text that I'm discussing tonight, but it's coming soon. So here's the Bible. Part of the reason I'm doing this, what are you going to find? What have we discussed so far? Lots of narrative, lots of story, lots of real personalities, and people doing things that we would see people do. My whole thing is the Old Testament is very relatable. It's full of relatable characters doing things that are extraordinary at times, and doing things that are very just pedestrian mistakes that people make, and how we could all relate to the fact that we all have something about us that really just brings us down more, that Satan is able to dig at us, so in many respects. With Moses, we're seeing a guy who was born into royalty, but with humble origins. He was born Hebrew, into Egypt, and Egypt didn't have a good opinion of Hebrews, but he was found as a baby by royalty, by the Pharaoh's Pharaoh's daughter. Can't remember. One Pharaoh's sister, one Pharaoh's daughter. They're a bit incestuous in the old Egyptian dynasties, so we don't know exactly where that lands on the family tree. Probably very close to the trunk. But he's found by her, and he grows up in the palace. But he's aware of his origins. He knows that he's Hebrew. He sees an Egyptian overseer beating a Hebrew man. He kills that Egyptian. Pharaoh finds out about it. He's got to get the heck out of Dodge. He settles into a new life as a shepherd, working for this guy. He marries his daughter, and he's established a family, and he's just doing his thing, trying to leave his old life behind. Then God comes to him and says, "Hey, Moses, I need you to do this thing that I prophesied. People have been in bondage for 400 years. It's time for us to get them out of there, take them back to the promised land." Moses is like, "What? Look, God, I can't do this. I'm not a very good public speaker. I'm not really the guy for this. Did you know I murdered a guy? I did that thing, and I got I'm not really welcome in Egypt." God says, "Tough. I'll give you a guy to help you speak. You're gonna do this. You're the man. You're the man I'm choosing for this. I know you can do it." God cheerleading him on. So Moses goes in there. He tells him to let people go. Pharaoh says, "Hell no, I'm not letting them go." Moses says, "All right, well, God's going to bring these plagues." God brings the plagues. Eventually, Passover happens. And then Pharaoh is like, "Get out of here. Just get out of here." So the Hebrews get their stuff. The Israelites, Hebrews, whatever you want to call them, get their stuff, leave. they're making their way out. Pharaoh finally comes to his senses. What have I done? I've let all of our slaves go. We need to get them back and kill a bunch of them too, because Passover was devastating to the Egyptian community. They're chasing the horde of Hebrews, and that's when the parting of the Red Sea happens. Moses, with the power of the Lord, parts the seas. Hebrews go through it. Egyptians try to follow them through, but before they're able to cross, Moses closes those walls, and bye-bye to the army of the preeminent power in the Middle East, the Egyptian army. So when we left off from there, Moses and the Israelites are waiting for their instructions. So they are on a journey right now to the promised land, and they are making a stop in Mount Sinai so Moses can create this great covenant, this Bible defining covenant with the Lord. And that started with the 10 Commandments. So we are on. Why does this say? This says the wrong thing. I'm doing the wrong thing here. What have I done? It's all right. I'm going to fix this. Guys. All right, here we go. Easily done. So we're going to pick up not long after the 10 Commandments. With the Exodus 24, the covenant confirmed. Then the Lord said to Moses, "Come up to the Lord, you and Aaron, Nadab and Abihu," who are apparently people who I've never heard mentioned up until this point, but apparently they're holy men of some sort, "and 70 of the elders of Israel. You are to worship at a distance, but Moses alone is to approach the Lord. The others must not come near. And the people may not come up with him," because guess what? Moses is doing most of the work here. So Moses is my guy. That's what God's saying basically here. He can come up and hang out with me. All you other folks got to chill somewhere else. You can wait. When Moses went and told the people all the Lord's words and laws, they responded with one voice, "Everything the Lord has said we will do." Moses then wrote down everything the Lord had said. I am sure that nothing is going to come back to haunt them with this response. Everything the Lord has said we will do, which is a good response. You should do what God Almighty says, right? But are they really? We're talking about a mob of people here, millions of people. Well, over 1 million people, a great multitude, and they're all saying they're going to do something. Well, you already know statistically that's not going to be the case. But how statistically is that not going to be the case? He got up early. We'll find out. He got up early the next morning and built an altar at the foot of the mountain and set up 12 stone pillars representing the 12 tribes of Israel. Well, that's nice. Then he sent young Israelite men, and they offered burnt offerings and sacrificed young bulls as fellowship offerings to the Lord. Hey, buddy, come on over for my barbecue, because we all know the smell of barbecue is an aroma pleasing to the Lord. It's a good move, Moses, being a good host, being a good guy here. Moses took half of the blood and put it in bowls, and the other half that he splashed against the altar. He took the book of the covenant and read it to the people. They responded, "We will do everything the Lord has said. We will obey." Yeah, you will. Of course you will, right? Moses then took the blood, sprinkled it on the people, and said, "This is the blood of the covenant that the Lord has made with you in accordance with all these words." This is Moses talking about the previous couple of chapters where he has convened with God. Moses and Aaron, Nadab and Abihu, and the 70 elders of Israel went up and saw the God of Israel. Amazing. Talk about privilege right there. Talk about privilege for everyone. Most deserving of course, is Moses, who's got to deal with all these fools. Under his feet was something like a pavement made of lapis lazuli and as bright blue as the sky. But God did not raise his hand against these leaders of the Israelites. They saw God, and they ate and drank. Hey, we got a party going on. The Lord said to Moses, "Come up to me on the mountain and stay here, and I will give you the tablets of stone with the law and the commandments I have written for their instruction." Look at that. Look, certain parts of the Bible would be beyond comprehension to witness firsthand. Obviously, creation of the universe and everything. Before this, perhaps the flood, as it's flowing, and Noah is sailing around in this great flood. The parting of the Red Sea, Daniel going into the lion's den, being with Christ at the cross, being with Christ after the resurrection, being with Christ literally any moment, probably being Mary, being approached by the angel, talking to her, talking about the arrival of Christ, being the shepherds when Christ is born, being John writing Revelation, just being Saul, being a total jerk to all the Christians and being struck down. These are events that happen in the Bible that are just amazing. But all the way up near the top, if not at the top, God talking to Moses and inviting him to have it to dine and eat with him. And then aside from the other folks who were invited, just say, "Hey, come on out here up on the mountain, hang out with me. I'm going to give you some things for these people that I've just cemented this covenant with. You're going to hang out with God." One singular man hanging out. Look, Christ is amazing, and there's nobody who is peer with him, who is a peer of his. Moses is just a man. He has no comprehension like Jesus does about what God is all about. He just knows he has to listen, and he does so faithfully, and he is being rewarded here. Can't imagine that experience. Moses is the man. Just had to stop there because that part right there is just, things that a blessing of blessings, right? Just amazing. Then Moses set out with Joshua, his aide, and Moses went up the mountain with God. He said to the elders, and probably Joshua as well, I'm assuming, wait here for us until we come back to you. Aaron and Hur, Ben-Hur, I know that from the movie. Aaron and Hur are with you, and anyone involved in the dispute can go to them. Look, I'm going out to hang out for a little while. Dad's going out. Y'all, Aaron's here. Ben-Hur is here. Just take things up with them. I'm sure that they can handle it. How much trouble can you get in the amount of time I'm going to be hanging out up there? When Moses went up on the mountain, the cloud covered it, and the glory of the Lord settled on Mount Sinai. For 6 days, the cloud covered the mountain. And on the 7th day, the Lord called to Moses from within the cloud. To the Israelites, the glory of the Lord looked like a consuming fire on top of the mountain. Then Moses entered the cloud as he went up on the mountain, and he stayed on the mountain 40 days and 40 nights. Does that sound familiar to anybody? Offerings for the tabernacle. The Lord said to Moses, "Hey, we're not just hanging out here. We're going to do some work too. We got some business we got to attend to." The Lord said to Moses, "Tell the Israelites to bring me an offering. You are to receive the offering for me from everyone whose heart prompts them to give. These are the offerings you are to receive from them: gold, silver, and bronze, blue, purple, and scarlet yarn, and fine linen, goat hair, ram skins, dyed red, and another type of durable leather. Acacia, I'll always screw this up. Olive oil for the light, spices for the anointing oil and for the fragrant incense, and onyx stones and other gems to be mounted on the ephod and breastpiece." What's an ephod and breastpiece? We're going to find out later. That's going to be tomorrow night when we talk about the priest. What's an ephod and breastpiece? We don't know right now. "Then have them make a sanctuary for me, and I will dwell among them. Make this tabernacle and all its furnishings exactly like the pattern I will show you." Look, we're hanging out and that's great, but I want to be a physical, tangible presence for the Israelites because they keep losing faith, right? Oh, why'd you bring us out of Egypt? We're just going to die here. We're thirsty. We're hungry. Look, I'm going to be a physical presence, a tangible presence for everybody, something everybody can look at and remind, and as a reminder, and we can convene at times. It'll help with the faith, and it will, but it isn't going to fix everybody. Have them make an ark of acacia wood, 2.5 cubits long, 1.5 cubits wide, and 1.5 cubits high. Overlay it with pure gold, both inside and out, and make a gold molding around it. Cast 4 gold rings for it and fasten them to its 4 feet, with 2 rings on each side and 2 rings on the other. Then make poles of acacia wood and overlay them with gold. Insert the poles into the rings on the sides of the ark to carry it. The poles are to remain in the rings of this ark. They are not to be removed. Then put in the ark of the tablets of the covenant law, which I will give you. Put in the ark the tablets of the covenant law, which I will give you. Make an atonement cover of pure gold, 2.5 cubits long and 1.5 cubits wide. And make 2 cherubim out of hammered gold at the ends of the cover. Make 1 cherubim on one end and the second cherubim on the other. Make the cherubim of one piece with the cover at the 2 ends. The cherubim are to have their wings spread upward, overshadowing the cover with them. The cherubim are to face each other, looking toward the cover. Place the cover on top of the ark and put in the ark the tablets of the covenant law that I will give you. They are above the cover between the 2 cherubim that are over the ark of the covenant law. I will meet with you and give you all of my commands for the Israelites. Nice. Also, he's very specific, right? And we all know that God's very specific. He wants to be obeyed. We need to figure it out. He knows why he's doing these things. We do not always understand his intentions. But that said, he gives these who designed this art? Did God do this? Or is this like one of the angels' drawings? Like, hey, I drew you a picture of this cool thing you can use to hang out whenever you want to hang out with the humans. And God goes, that's pretty nice, dude. I think we'll probably go with that. Or if God's like, this is my ideal. Like it's fancy in some ways, it's simple in others, it's the perfect mix. So just do it. Build it like I told you to, because this is what I want. Very specific. He's very specific. The table made the table of acacia wood cubit. Yep. Yeah, that's right. Make the table of acacia wood 2 cubits long and 1 cubit wide and 1.5 cubits high. Don't know what a cubit is. 2510. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know how long a cubit is. Overlay it with pure gold and make a gold molding around it. Also make around it a rim and a handbreadth. Make it a rim a handbreadth wide and put a gold molding on the rim. Make your 4 gold rings for the tablet and fasten them to the 4 corners where the 4 legs are. The rings are to be close to the rim to hold the poles used in carrying the table. Make the poles of acacia wood, overlay them with gold, and carry the table with them. And make its plates and dishes of pure gold, as well as its pitchers and bowls for the pouring out of offerings. Put the bread of the presence on this table to be before me at all times. It's a never-ending breadsticks at not Olive Garden, but Israel Garden. Or Olive Israel. Olive Wanderers. Moses Garden. I'm terrible at this right now. The lampstand. Make a lampstand of pure gold. Hammer out its base and shaft and make its flower-like cups, buds, and blossoms of one piece with them. 6 branches are to extend from the sides of the lampstand, 3 on one side and 3 on the other. 3 cups shaped like almond flowers with buds and blossoms are to be on one branch, 3 on the next branch, and the same for all 6 branches extending from the lampstand. And on the lampstand there are to be 4 cups shaped like almond flowers with buds and blossoms. 1 bud shall be under the first pair of branches extending from the lampstand, a second bud under the second pair, and a third bud under the third pair. 6 branches in all. The buds and the branches shall all be of one piece, with the lampstand hammered out of pure gold. Then make it 7 lamps and set them up on it so that they light the space in front of it. Its wick, trimmers, and trays are to be made of pure gold. A talent, another unit of measure that I don't care to know. I would care if I was building this because that would be important to do exactly what I was told. A talent of pure gold is to be used for the lampstand and all these accessories. See that you make them according to the pattern shown you on the mountain. Do what I said. Do what I said. They are actually going to do this. Obviously, we know that there's an Ark of the Covenant because we've seen Indiana Jones and the Raiders of the Lost Ark. Make the tabernacle with 10 curtains, finely twisted linen, and blue, purple, and scarlet yarn, picking up on a theme here. With cherubim woven into them by a skilled worker, all the curtains are to be the same size, 28 cubits long and 4 cubits wide. Join 5 of the curtains together and do the same with the other 5. Make loops of blue material along the edge of the end of curtain in one set, and do the same with the end curtain on the other set. Make 50 loops in one curtain and 50 loops on the end curtain of the other set, with the loops opposite each other. Then make 50 gold clasps and use them to fasten the curtains together so that the tabernacle is a unit. That's 50. I didn't say 49, didn't say 40 or 51. I said 50. It's a nice round, even number. Do what I said. Make curtains of goat hair for the tent over the tabernacle, 11 altogether. All 11 curtains are to be the same size, 30 cubits long, 4 cubits wide. Join 5 of the curtains together into one set and the other 6 into another set. Fold the 6th curtain double at the front of the tent. Make 50 loops along the edge of the end curtain in one set and also bring along the edge of the end curtain in the other set. Then make 50 bronze clasps and put them in the loops and to fasten the tent together as a unit. As for the additional length of the tent curtains, the half curtain that is left over is to hang down at the rear of the tabernacle. The tent curtains will be a cubit longer on both sides. What is left will hang over the side of the tabernacle so as to cover it. Make for the tent a covering of ram skins dyed red, and over that a covering of other durable leather. Other durable leather. That's what. Look, we're taking these things, these donations, bring them in. Look at this is again very, very specific, and he's doing all this without YouTube, right? There's not a YouTube channel going, here's how you make the Ark of the Covenant so that God can come down and talk to you too. This is what we're going to do. No. Moses is doing all this from scratch and he's winging it, right? He's winging it in exact of putting it all together. God's obviously giving him the instructions. He's probably lasering it into Moses' mind in the way that only a deity can, or only the deity can. Make upright frames of acacia wood for the tabernacle. Each frame is to be 10 cubits long and a cubit and a half wide, with 2 projections set parallel to each other. Make all the frames of the tabernacle in this way. Make 20 frames for the south side of the tabernacle, and make 40 silver bases to go under them. 2 bases for each frame, 1 under each projection. For the other side, the north side of the tabernacle, make 20 frames and 40 silver bases, 2 under each frame. Make 6 frames for the far end, that is the west end of the tabernacle, and make 2 frames for the corner of the far end. All these 2 corners, they must be double from the bottom all the way to the top and fitted to a single ring. Both shall be like that. So there will be 8 frames and 16 silver bases, 2 under each frame. If I've lost you, that's okay. I've lost myself in this. I know he's giving instructions, to very specific instructions on how to build this thing. I'm not even sure where we're at anymore. We're talking about the tabernacle, though. Also make the crossbars of acacia wood, 5 for the frames on one side of the tabernacle, 5 for those on the other side, and 5 for the frames on the west at the far end of the tabernacle. The center crossbar is to extend from end to end at the middle of the frames. Overlay the frames with gold and make gold rings to hold the crossbars. Also, overlay the crossbars with gold. Set up the tabernacle according to the plan shown you on the mountain. Make a curtain of blue, purple, and scarlet yarn and finely twisted linen. with cherubim woven into it by a skilled worker. Yeah, I'm assuming that all of this is going to be done by skilled workers. Nothing but the best for God. Hang it with gold hooks on 4 posts of acacia wood overlaid with gold and standing on 4 silver bases. Hang the curtain from the clasps and place the Ark of the Covenant law behind the curtain. The curtain will separate the holy place from the most holy place. Yeah, you've got holy and most holy. And back there where they're in the latrine area, that's the unholy place. That's not in the Bible. I just made that up. Put the atonement cover on the Ark of the Covenant law in the most holy place. Place the table outside the curtain on the north side of the tabernacle and put the lampstand opposite it on the south side. For the entrance to the tent, make a curtain of blue, purple, and scarlet yarn and finely twisted linen, the work of an embroiderer. Yeah, of course. Make gold hooks for this curtain and 5 posts of acacia wood overlaid with gold and 5 cast bronze bases for them. Look, he wants this to be done by skilled workers. I'm assuming Moses, being the pious and faithful man that he is not gonna slap this together. He's gonna have a crack team of artisans, carpenters, craftsmen, sewers. And all right, this is going to be our last chapter for tonight. It's not that long, but this will bring us out of that for the finalize those things with the ark. Build an altar of acacia wood 3 cubits high. It is to be square, 5 cubits long, and 5 cubits wide. Make a horn at each of the 4 corners so that the horns and the altar are of one piece. And overlay the altar with bronze. Bet you thought it was going to be gold. Make all of its utensils of bronze, its pots to remove the ashes, and its shovels, sprinkling bowls and meat forks and fire pans. Make a grating for it, a bronze network, and make a bronze ring at each of the 4 corners of the network. Put it under the ledge of the altar so that it is halfway up the altar. Make poles of acacia wood for the altar and overlay them with bronze. The poles are to be inserted into the ring so that they will be on 2 sides of the altar when it is carried. Make the altar hollow out of boards. It is to be made just as you were shown on the mountain. And make a courtyard for the tabernacle. The south side shall be 100 cubits long and have its curtains of finely twisted linen, with 20 posts and 20 bronze bases with silver hooks and bands on the post. The north side shall be 100 cubits long and is to have curtains with 20 posts and 20 bronze bases with silver hooks and bands on the post. The west end of the courtyard shall be 50 cubits wide and have curtains with 10 posts and 10 bases. On the east end, toward the sunrise, the courtyard shall also be 50 cubits wide. Curtains 15 cubits long are to be on one side of the entrance with 3 posts and 3 bases, and curtains 15 cubits long are to be on the other side with 3 posts and 3 bases. For the entrance to the courtyard, provide a curtain 20 cubits long of blue, purple, and scarlet yarn, and finely twisted linen, the work of an embroiderer with 4 posts and 4 bases. All the posts around the courtyard are to have silver bands and hooks and bronze bases. The courtyard shall be 100 cubits long and 50 cubits wide, with curtains of finely twisted linen 5 cubits high and with bronze bases. All of the other articles used in the service of the tabernacle, whatever their function, including all the tent pegs for it, and those for the courtyard, are to be of bronze. Folks, this is attention to detail at its finest. And Moses is going to do this correctly. Now, we'll wrap up and then I'll give my word of caution. Command the Israelites to bring you clear oil of pressed olives for the light so that the lamps may be kept burning in the tent of meeting outside the curtain that shields the Ark of the Covenant law. Aaron and his sons are to keep the lamps burning before the Lord from evening till morning. This is to be a lasting ordinance among the Israelites for the generations to come. And that will do it for our reading tonight. Now, what we have here are the makings and the blueprints for the Ark of the Covenant. And jokes aside about Indiana Jones, we are going to realize that any place that the Lord decides to God is all around us, and he is always watching and always paying attention to what we're doing. But when he decides to manifest in some way, in a very direct way, anytime you see that, it's going to be something special. It's going to be something terrible. And I don't necessarily mean that terrible in a bad way, but just awesome power. And it's going to be, you need to be wary, right? Because that is, if you can think of caged lightning, that's basically what the Ark of the Covenant is many times over. We're going to see that Ark be very important. I just think it would have just been another thing to witness, is the Ark of the Covenant in all its glory, when all of God's glory kind of manifest inside that. It would just be cool to see that instance. But I would ask, as a word of caution, if you are a very skilled carpenter, embroiderer, and metallurgist, or metalsmith, I would warn you, if you build this or have something like this built, you may not want to do so, because, as we'll find out in the future, sometimes people have possession of the Ark of the Covenant, that aren't supposed to have the Ark of the Covenant. It doesn't go very well for them. It's not a blessing at that point. It is doom incarnate. Don't mess with the God's whip. Anyway, all right, so that's where we are. We have gotten Moses is on the mountain. He's chilling with God. God says, "Hey, we still got some stuff we need to do. I want you to build this thing for me, because that's really what I brought you up here. I wanted to commission this work for you to commission to other people, so that we're going to have this really nice meeting area, so that I'm the center of the camp. Everybody's reminded I'm the Lord God. I'm the guy that y'all should be paying attention to. And you're going to come in. We're going to talk. I'm going to give you guidance. We're going to tell you what we need to do next." That's great. Meanwhile, all the Israelites are down at the base of the mountain, and they're probably just being very, they're just behaving themselves. They're on their best behavior. They know that Moses is up there. They're certainly not up to no good. Certainly not up to no good. And it's good, because if they're not up to no good, they're not going to be up to no good in the next chapter, when we start talking about the ephod and breastpiece that we heard alluded to earlier, the priestly garments. Guys, if y'all think this is dry, just wait until we get into Leviticus. That's all I got to say. Well, we're doing this, right? I'm committed to this. And you have the luxury, I guess, you have the luxury to not tune in and listen to me talk about it. But promise you, there's little gems, there's little things to think about, even in the stuff that's dry. But and there's stuff in here you might not know about. You might not know what an ephod is. You might not know that priests are supposed to dress a specific way. You might have opinions on what these different instructions mean. Like, why is he doing this a certain way? How did this possibly look? It's just painting this picture for you. Anyways, folks, that's going to be it for us this evening. Like I said, we've got I am committed, at least as this New Year's resolution, I am committed to get us some to growing this channel in a meaningful way. It starts with you. So if you like what you're seeing, go ahead and click like. Again, I'm going to tell you what I told you at the beginning. Click like on my YouTube channel. Click like on Facebook. Share it with other people. Just talk about, hey, go check out this nutcase. Look at what he's doing, trying to read the Bible one chapter at a time, and giving his thoughts like anybody cares. No, just get out there, help grow this. If you think that this is a project worth its metal, if it's worth sharing, do that. That's the best way to help this thing grow, because most of you folks that are tuning in, I probably know you, or you know somebody that I know. And I think that's great. But this is outreach for other folks, mainly folks who don't know God. You can tune in, and I want to hear your thoughts. I don't want to just be a channel for folks that are trying to get to know God. This is a community. Being a Christian is being part of a community, and that means sharing some of your experiences, some of your your takes, and some of your interpretations with them. Maybe you can help a person better than I can just by adding a little bit extra to this stream with a comment, with a share. You never know. You never know. In the meantime, but barring all that, that's great. But I'd love to hear more from you guys. This is what I'm doing it for. Glory to God. I want to go out and reach you and give you guys some content that's worth tuning into and worth people converting over, worth people starting a relationship with Christ, or at least helping them along. Anyway, folks, that's it for me this evening. You guys have a great and wonderful evening, and I will be back on here tomorrow night to further discuss the Bible and God. God bless. Good night. Tomorrow's Thursday. My mouse isn't clicking. Oh, technical stuff. It's always technical